This is Patrick Roth, Senior Support Technician for E1 Business Solutions. Today we're going to look at an interesting case that a customer ran across here recently, and I thought I'd talk about it on a video today. The customer has defined a map in SmartConnect 21 or SmartConnect.com, either or, as they work everything over SmartConnect on 21 on-prem 947 and SmartConnect.com work the same. There's no longer OWC drivers like SmartConnect 2018 or previous version of SmartConnect 21 did use. And so we get a similar problem, but a different error. So in this case, they have it configured. They're using a Microsoft Excel source, not an Excel folder data source. I'd probably always recommend using folder data sources. But in this case, I don't think it would make any difference. You'd still end up with a problem about not being able to read the file. So if I look at this, it's reading this file, case 26352.slxx, and the sheet's configured as D202599B. And if we see it, we preview it, says there's data. If I save this, preview it, says there's data. Everything's fine. If I run the map, it's going to run, and it ran successfully. So the problem that they're running across then, they said, we have a process that's putting in the file from an external process, and they're putting it into a specific folder, the one configured, and its specific file name, again, the one configured, and that's all fine, except once in a while it's not fine. And they run it and they get an error out of SmartConnect 21, and they're puzzled about that then, because it should be it should be fine. Everything should be the same, but it's not. So what they've been doing is manually they've been opening up Excel, making a new Excel file, pasting the file into the new Excel file, saving it, and then with that same new name, with that same sheet name, and then in SmartConnect reads it fine and everything's fine, but they're just wondering what's going on. So in this case, we saw that it worked before. So now if I change it behind the scenes and then rerun this integration, it fails. An error occurred retrieving the data, cannot find table 0. If I open up the map, the same error, of course, and SmartConnect's not happy. Now, it's not real easy to see here what the problem is, but if I go to the edit data source window, problem I see immediately is that the sheet name's not filled in. And we might wonder, that does seem to be some sort of clue that there's a problem, because before when I opened it up, the sheet name was selected. We saw the sheet name was fine. It didn't work. So when I look at it, though, it becomes apparent what the real problem was. And so if we look at the sheet, SmartConnect read all of the sheets. So if I had multiple sheets, we would see them all. There is just one in the sheet. So the file name's the same. But what we see, though, is my sheet name is 202.588C. And not the 599B that I saw before. So the problem is yes, the file name was there, but the sheet name wasn't what was configured with SmartConnect. And so when I was reading it, it completely expected to be that way. So a couple solutions then. Obviously, you can continue, renaming things. Instead of actually copying and pasting the data into a new Excel file, clearly the easiest way to do that is, as long as you have Excel open when you're doing this, because how else are you reading the data, is just rename the sheet back to what you expect it to. And of course, you might maybe make the sheet name more simple, but again, this could be coming from some process that this is what the sheet name is, and it's not easily configurable. So from a SmartConnect perspective, we could just pop open the data source and then just switch the sheet, and as we preview it, and if I would run it, it'll also work. In SmartConnect 21, we can make it a little easier than that by going in a data source, and we can select this select file at runtime. So it knows the sheet, it knows the file, but if we do select file at runtime, every single time you run it, and I'll just run it from the console here, it pops up, which file do you want? It defaults to the same exact file as before. I don't have to reselect the file, that part's same, but it makes you select the sheet. So if I had, multiple sheets, this would be more difficult to find which one that you'd want to. But in their particular case, it was always one sheet. Most of the time it was the correct name. Once in a while it wasn't. And so we would just automatically do that. And when we run it, boom, it works. So depending on how big of a problem this was, this might be an easy solution. Obviously, this isn't a solution if this was all running on a scheduler, because we can't have it prompting for sheet names. So they'd have to make sure that the sheet name was correct before that. One thing we could do that I didn't talk about in the article, but one thing we could do is we could perhaps write some map pre-task to go look at uh, the file itself, and then look at the sheets looking for a specific sheet name. So in this case, if we don't find the sheet, or if we just always assume there's just one sheet, we could always just rename the sheet, make sure it's the correct name, 599B, and then just save the file back again. So when the map ran, hey, it's always the right name, and nobody has to change anything. Nobody has to do it manually. But that would be something that you would do if this is a common thing. If it was just a once in a while thing, either solution might be a workaround, but this is the problem here. The sheet name just didn't exist.